Hi there, brilliant people. So today I'm actually talking to those of you who may not be sure. You may want to work with your intuition, or you may want to be intuitive, but you may be unsure whether or not you are. And actually, these same things help you if you actually just want to strengthen your intuition as well. But because today I'm talking about how to connect to your intuition. Because the truth is even those of us who think that we are not intuitive, well, it's just part of the human tool set. You breathe, you have intuition. You can walk, you have thoughts. Yeah, intuition is just part of the human system. It's not part that we're particularly taught how to develop consciously as yet. I mean, hopefully that'll change, but you have it. You can, we all do. It's there. It's part of our system. Our job is to learn to connect to it, and then learn, once we're connected to it, to learn how to use it so that we can be more effective and successful in life. So, right, let's get down to it. How do you connect to your intuition, particularly if you've not really done that consciously before? Well, step one, of course, is to acknowledge that you do have intuition. Whether you're conscious of it or not, you have intuition. So just start there, because by acknowledging that you have intuition, it's kind of like giving your system permission to notice those moments when your intuition is talking to you. It might be, little things like having the thought of somebody pops into your head, and then, they ring you, or, you ring them and they say, oh yeah, I was just thinking about you. Or, it can be little things like that. But if you don't acknowledge that you have intuition, you just go, oh, that was odd. But if you do acknowledge that you have intuition, so you're giving yourself permission to actually notice when your intuition is working, that's when you get to step two. Because when you do have those moments, you can stop and notice how you feel. Like, when you're having those moments of intuition, stop and consider, like, how was my internal state? How was I feeling? Did I just have a sense of knowing? Did it come as a feeling? Like all the different intuitive languages that I talk about. There's a whole series of videos that I've done on the different intuitive languages. But you want to notice, like, when those intuitions happened, like how did you pick it up? Like, what was going on in your head and your heart and your body and your energy, and what happened when you had that intuition? Just notice, make a note of it, because you want to make a note of it because you want to notice if that same thing happened the next time you have a little intuition. So the third thing is once you start to notice those little things that are happening, also notice your internal state, because you'll find that there's like a stillness or a knowingness. It's like when you're having those intuitions, you're not really arguing with yourself about it. You just, it's just there. It's the same way as, like, if I said to you the sky is blue, you're not going to argue about it, even if, wherever you are, and whenever you're listening to this, if it's nighttime or if it's cloudy, you're not going to argue about the sky is blue, because you know that. Well, your intuition, when it's working at its best, it sort of has that same kind of feeling about it. It's like, well, it just is. So you want to notice that state of internal alignment that happens. Yeah, so step 4, once you start to notice, once you know that sense of stillness and what goes on for you when you have your intuitions, once you start to notice that that's what's happening, then you start to get more active about it. because now that you sort of has some conscious awareness around your intuition, you can notice when it's happening at the time. So, when you have that, because sometimes you just think about somebody and you're just thinking about somebody, but sometimes you're thinking about somebody and you do need to call them. And the difference is those internal states and whether or not it really is your intuition talking to you. So when you know that, right now I'm having an intuitive moment, you can then act on it, and then you will get that intuitive, brilliant result. You will go, yeah, that was cool. That made, your life easier or someone else's life easier. Things just flowed. So that's step 4. So step 5, so once you know that state works for you, once you've really figured out this is what happens with my intuition, there's that sense of stillness or certainty or knowingness around it, then you can actually start to actively practice it. What you do is you start to kind of turn it around. What I mean by that is, instead of waiting for your intuition to talk to you to put you into that state, you just focus on that state and practice being in that state. And because that state goes along with your intuition, you'll find that by practicing that state, which, for me is usually a state of alignment, that's generally how I talk about it. But once you start to practice that state, whether it's, it's a feeling or, if it's a sound, you can start practice sort of almost actively listening for it, or whatever it is for you. Once you start to practice, once you know what your intuitive state feels like, you can start to practice it even when your intuition isn't happening. Because by doing that, it's kind of like opening the door to your intuition, or, tuning your radio to that particular signal, to your own intuitive signal. So you're saying to your intuition, I'm open. If you've got anything to tell me, let me know. And you'll find that, yes, your intuitions will start to come more frequently. Some of that is because they were coming anyway, but now you're actually listening for them. And it is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it'll get. So you will then be able to get bigger intuitions. And that's kind of when things start to get exciting, because that's when it can really help you in your life, and it can help you achieve a life that is more brilliant. So I hope that helps. Any questions or comments, just, put them below or email me. And until next time, remember that you're brilliant.